Will you state your name, sir, please?
My name is Gregory Bovino,
And your title?
Chief Patrol Agent.
Where do you work?
I work at U.S. Border Patrol.
What is your role in Operation Midway Blitz?
Objective form lacks foundation.
I'm the commander of Operation Midway Blitz, Customs and Border Protection Assets.
Does that mean there are other, you listed some other agencies earlier in my questioning that you know to be also involved in Operation Midway Blitz, specifically the FBI, the DEA, ATF, and ICE. Can we agree that federal agents from those agencies are also participating in Operation Midway Blitz?
Yes.
Yes. Do you, with respect to the federal agents from those agencies that I just listed, do you have any command responsibility?
Objective form.
I have command responsibility of all assets under me for Operation Midway Blitz that are assigned to Customs and Border Protection.
Okay. I asked you
People
who
are
your
the-
direct reports are. Okay?
Yes.
Do you understand that question?
Yes,
Can you answer it, please?
I did.
Okay. So how many direct reports do you have?
Same objection, lacks foundation.
There are approximately 220 agents in Customs and Border Protection.
And
on
do
this
they all
operation.
report directly to you?
Yes.
Okay. To whom do you report in regards to Operation Midway Blitz?
Secretary Christino.
And you are a direct report to the Secretary?
Yes.
First question for you, sir, is that you in the video, and did you say these things to the agents under your command on June 7 in Los Angeles?
That appears to be me, and it appears to be what I said there on sometime. I don't know what the date of that was.
Do you recall saying those things?
I don't recall everything. I don't recall everything. No.
But you have no doubt that you said that.
I believe that I said what was on the video there.
All right. So the instruction that you gave to your officers was that they had full reign to arrest anyone who so much as touched them. That, in essence, was what you said to the officers, right?
No.
Should we interpret you as saying something different?
I don't know how you want to interpret me, but that's not what I said.
Okay. Well, is that what you meant?
No.
What did you mean?
When someone impedes, delays, obstructs, or assaults a federal officer, then those Border Patrol agents have a right to and should arrest them.
If they touch the agent, right? Those are your words.
Objective form
Anybody
is
touches you, you can arrest them.
Yes. Yes.
Now, does that statement, anybody who touches you, you can arrest, does that apply in Chicago equally as it did in Los Angeles?
objective form mischaracterized the testimony.
As I said in there, it touches you legally, ethically, and morally. It applies anywhere.
Okay, including here in Chicago.
Yeah, legally, ethically, and morally, yes.
Okay. I'm marking next for identification as Exhibit 5. A transcript of an interview that you gave to a local reporter here in Chicago who works for the local CBS News affiliate. And I'll hand it to you and a copy to your counsel. I've got an extra one.
Thank you.
I'd love to get rid of. So what we did, Mr. Bovino, is we took the television recording and we employed a court reporter like Megan here to listen to it and make a transcript. So I'm hoping we can agree that this is a reliable record of what you said in response to the questions you were asked. Take a minute to look at the transcript and I'll have some questions for you about it. It's quite short.
Quick question for you, counsel. Is this the complete, is this a transcript of the complete interview?
This is a transcript of the portion of a news segment in which Nicole Sagana interviewed
It's not the entire
Mr.
interview.
Bovino. It is the entirety of that portion that aired. So I'm sure she asked you other questions, Mr. Bovino, but this is what we were able to see on the news.
I'm just gonna, you can use, obviously ask your question, but I'm just, I have a standing objection to the fact that this is, on the basis that this is an incomplete report. You can answer to the extent you remember any of this.
Let me know, just look at me when you're ready for me to ask you questions. Is that?
I just looked at you.
Okay. One of the things that you say is that you have seen a number of uses of force in the Chicagoland area over the course of Midway Blitz, right?
In this, I said that? No, I
I'm asking
didn't
you
say
a-
that there.
I'm asking you a question, sir. It's just a simple question. You have seen a number of uses of force over the course of your time here in the Chicago area, correct?
I have seen use of force
And
here.
you have participated
Let
in
him finish,
uses of
please.
force, correct?
I have what? I have what?
Participated in uses of force,
I have used force
right?
here
Um,
in Chicago.
Okay. I'm going to just read the entirety of your answer to a question that the reporter asks you about whether the uses of force have been proper. Here's what you say, and I'm quoting from the exhibit, page 3, lines 10 to 17. The use of force that I've seen, Nicole, and I've been here at the Broadview facility during some of those riots in which extremists and others did attack federal law enforcement agents. And the use of force that I've seen has been exemplary. And by exemplary, I would say the least amount of force necessary to accomplish the mission. Do you recall saying that to Ms. Sanka?
Yes.
And is that true?
Yes.
Okay, now we have progressed, in time, several weeks past the date of this interview. If I were to ask you today, is it true that all of the uses of force that you are aware of, that you or any other federal agent has applied in the course of Midway Blitz, has, in your judgment, been quote unquote exemplary? Would that still be the case, sir?
Objective form. Can you represent a date for this?
I cannot. I don't know exactly what date it is. It's when stuff was hot and heavy at Broadview. Could you answer my question, sir?
Repeat the question, please,
Yeah,
again.
sure. If I'm asking you today about Operation Midway Blitz, is it still true that, in your judgment, every use of force that you've seen has been exemplary, meaning the least amount of force necessary to accomplish the mission? Is that still true today?
Object if one mischaracterizes the testimony and the report.
No.
Okay. Have there been uses of force that have been less than proper?
No, all uses of force have been more than exemplary.
I see. So they have been actually, what would be the word?
More than exemplary.
Have been more than exemplary. Okay. Now, you were asked a question here about whether it's okay to fire less lethal munitions from an elevation. You see at the bottom of page 3, the reporter asks you, firing from elevation is within DH policy. And that's a question that's posed to you. And your answer, beginning at line 23 on that page, is it doesn't matter where you fire from. An elevation is not a violation of policy. That is a less lethal device for area saturation. Absolutely, you bet. Did you say that?
Yes.
And is that accurate? Is that true under DHS policy?
That is true.
And do you instruct the agents under your command who are firing from elevation that firing from elevation is not a violation of policy? It's absolutely okay to do so.
I have not instructed anyone. I'm not an instructor.
Okay. Well, you supervise, right?
I am a supervisor.
Supervisor. Have you ever taken any agent under your command aside and said, I see you firing pepper balls from a rooftop or other elevation, that is a violation of policy, you shouldn't do that?
I've never said that.
When there's another question about aiming pepper balls above the waist. You're asked if aiming pepper balls above the waist is within policy. Do you see where I am now on page 4, line 2?
Yes.
Your answer is, and I quote, "It can be. If someone strays into a pepper ball, then that's on them. Don't protest and don't trespass." Did you say that?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to ask you my question again. Are you saying, in essence, that if somebody doesn't want to be hit by a pepper ball fired at them above their waist, the solution for that person is not to protest? Is that the message you were attempting to deliver by what you said?
Same objection.
No.
What are you trying to say?
Pepper balls can be fired above the waist. I said it can be, and pepper balls can be fired above the waist.
What about if it hits a person who's lawfully protesting? Is that a problem for you?
I'm not, that's situationally specific. I don't know.
Could be a problem, might not be a problem.
I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on something that I've not seen with my own eyes.
Okay. But the solution to the problem, according to you, is just don't come out and protest, and then you're not going to get hit by a pepper ball that you might stray into the way of. Isn't that what you're saying?
Objective form.
No.
How am I misinterpreting what you're saying?
It says don't protest and don't trespass. Those are both mutually inclusive. Protest and trespass they're not mutually exclusive. Therefore, protesting and trespassing places that into a category where area saturation with the pepper ball is within policy.
Okay. Now, you remember there was a Protestant clergyman by the name of David Black, who is actually one of the plaintiffs in our case. Do you remember the man's name?
No.
Do you recall? Let's assume, and I realize you can't tell from the pictures, but let's assume hypothetically that federal agents are striking, you've seen the video, striking Reverend Black with pepper balls that are being fired from the top of the ice facility. Okay, just assume that with me. And that Reverend Black is standing where he's standing, his arms are outstretched, and he's saying something that we can't hear. Do you have my assumptions in mind?
I understand what you're saying.
Okay. In that circumstance, assuming that everything I said is true, is the use of force that is shown in the video and in these photographs in terms of the striking of the pepper balls, is that exemplary?
Objective form calls for speculation, in the hypothetical.
I won't make a decision on a hypothetical situation, a situation that either I'm not involved in, nor do I have any direct knowledge of. I don't know.
Okay. So you are not willing to say that that's an exemplary use of force?
I'm unable to comment on that use of force.
Okay. How about better than exemplary? Is that a better than exemplary use of force?
Same objection.
I'm unable to comment on what that use of force is or anything else. I was not there.
Next question. As the commander of the agents on the ground in Operation Midway Blitz, can you look me in the eye and acknowledge that the use of force applied against Reverend Black that is depicted in the video and in these photographs is unacceptable and inappropriate and should not have happened? Can you tell me that?
Objective form.
I can tell you that,
Objective form, same objections.
I can tell you that I don't know what the use of force was here, and I can't make a judgment either way because I don't know.
Can you? All right, so Mr. Bovino, you've had an opportunity to look at the video. Do you see yourself?
I did see myself.
Okay. Do you recall the events that are depicted in the video?
I remember the events that took place in the video.
Okay. There is an older gentleman who exchanges words with you, right?
It appears, yes.
Yes. And in the beginning of that video clip, he is expressing his disagreement with your presence in Chicago, and he doesn't like the fact that you are instructing him to move down, right?
No.
I mean, am I right or wrong?
You're wrong.
Okay. What do you think he's doing?
That individual is failing to follow instructions to vacate the area.
I see. Now, the area in question is behind a guardrail, right?
There was a cement barrier. There's not a guardrail.
All right. It is behind a barrier of some stripe or another, right?
It appears so.
Yes. He is standing behind that barrier, right?
It appears so.
And your decision at the time was that you did not want anybody standing behind that barrier speaking or being present in any way, and you instructed them all to leave, right?
Objective form, video speaks for itself.
No.
Not true. Well, did you see on the video that tell you this older gentleman is named Scott Blackburn? This gentleman turned to comply with your directions, and he also expressed vulgarity and obscenity in your direction as he was complying, right?
Objective form.
No.
That didn't happen. You didn't see that on the video.
I didn't see what you said.
Right. And then you got over the barrier, tackled this man to the ground, and arrested him, right?
No.
Did you not tackle him?
No.
Okay. So if somebody were watching that video and thought that you tackled the older gentleman whose name is Scott Blackburn, you'd say, don't believe your lying eyes, that's not what happens on the video.
I wouldn't say that.
Would you say that that is not what's depicted on the video?
I wouldn't say that either.
Or do you acknowledge that you're tackling Mr. Blackburn on this video?
No.
Okay. What do you think you're doing to Mr. Blackburn?
I'm imploring Mr. Blackburn, or whoever that individual was, to comply with leaving the area and to comply with instructions.
Okay. Are you making physical contact with him?
There was physical contact.
Are you applying force?
At that point, no.
Did you at any point in this video apply any force against Mr. Blackburn?
No.
Okay. So if somebody thought that you were applying force against Mr. Blackburn, they'd be sadly mistaken.
Yes.
Okay. Do you acknowledge that there were any uses of force that were applied against either of these individuals on that morning, as shown in the video?
I've seen no reportable uses of force.
Pardon me?
I've seen no reportable uses of force.
When you say reportable uses of force, what do you mean?
A use of force that would be reported.
Yes, and what uses of force would be reported?
Such as a pepper ball launch, or less lethal, or open-handed strikes, deadly force, shooting, something like that. Anything that is a reportable use of force. An arrest is not.
All right. So, do you acknowledge? I mean, I don't want to play word games with you. Okay. Do you acknowledge that force can be applied in the course of an arrest?
It's
Just
possible.
as a general matter,
It's possible.
it's possible. Sometimes there's no need to apply force, and force is not applied in an arrest, right?
It's possible.
And sometimes it is necessary to apply force to effectuate an arrest in your experience, correct?
It can happen that way.
And you have been trained that that is the case, right?
Yes.
And you train, or when you're supervising officers, that is your shared understanding, that sometimes arrests will require the application of force.
It's possible.
Now, these two arrests, will you agree, skip reportable, will you agree that physical force was applied to these two individuals in the course of arresting them?
I will not agree to that.
Can you explain why you won't agree to that?
That's not a reportable use of force. The use of force was against me.
I see. Okay. So, do you remember when the secretary came out to give everybody some encouragement and to define the scope of the mission?
I remember when the secretary came out.
And you were present when she said the things that are recorded in that video clip, correct?
Yes.
And you agreed with them?
In the video, did I agree with that?
Yes, what
I
she
said
said.
yes, ma'am.
Did you agree with what she said?
I agreed in the video.
And do you agree today?
Yes.
Do you agree that as part of your mission in the Northern District of Illinois, it is necessary, it is your mission to go hard against those who are advocating for violence?
Yes.
Do you agree that people who are advocating for violence by the way that they talk and the way that they speak and who they are associated with, that those people need to face consequences? Do you agree with that?
Objective form.
I don't agree.
What's wrong with what I just said?
I don't agree with what you say.
Why not?
I think that I don't really understand who you're talking about or exactly what you're talking about when you say that they advocate violence with other people. It's very confusing.
So here's what the secretary says. She says, today when we leave here, we're going to go hard. We're going to hammer these guys that are advocating for violence against the American people. What they are doing is advocating to harm not just you and your colleagues, but your families. And they're doxing your identities and victimizing people every day by the way that they're talking, speaking, who they're affiliated with, who they're funded with, and what they're talking about as far as consequences for what we're doing by protecting this country. Do you agree with the sentiments that the secretary is expressing in what I just read?
Yes.
And do you agree that your mission is to follow the secretary's instruction to go hard at people who are advocating for violence against you, your officers, and their families?
Yes.
You agree that it is your mission to go after them hard for those things that they are talking about, saying, speaking, who they're affiliated and who they're funded with, as the secretary says. You agree with that, right?
Object.
Do you need my question back?
Yes.
Okay. Do you agree with what the secretary is saying here, that your mission as commander of Operation Midway Blitz is to go hard against people who are advocating for violence against you, your officers, their families, and so forth, in what they are talking, in the way that they are speaking, in who they're affiliated with and who they're funded with, and who are talking about consequences for what you are doing by protecting your country? Do you agree with the secretary that that is part of your mission?
Same objection.
I agree that, with the secretary that we're going to hammer people that advocate for violence.
Okay. Mr. Bovino.
Recording in progress.
Here we go. So, Mr. Bovino, my question for you when I decided we needed to take a break a few minutes ago was this. Have you communicated to the officers under your command that part of their responsibilities, not everyone, but part of their responsibilities is to hammer guys who are advocating for violence against the American people?
I have instructed my officers that when threats are made, which is advocacy of violence threats against law enforcement officers are made, that they are that is arrestable.
Okay. Have you instructed your officers that they should go hard against people for the way that they're talking, speaking, who they're affiliated with, and who they're funded with?
Objective.
I've told my officers to go hard against people that are advocating threats, violence, death against those in the form of threats.
Mr. Bovino, I want to talk with you next about another comment that you have made. You said on October 30 that from what you have seen, all of the uses of force by yourself and the men under your command have been more than exemplary, your words. You still stand by that?
Yes.
So when you tackled Scott Blackburn, as shown in the video marked for identification as Exhibit 8, that use of force on your part was more than exemplary?
Objective form lacks foundation.
As we talked earlier, that was not a reportable use of force.
Not a use of
placed
force.
him in under arrest. I didn't
Gotcha.
tackle him. I placed him under arrest.
Gotcha. When your men tackled Juan Munoz in your presence on October 3, as shown in that same video, that use of force was more than exemplary?
Objective form lacks foundation.
I haven't. There was no use.
Having looked at the reports, did you see any evidence that your men were confronted by violent rioters in Old Irving Park?
Yes.
You did. all of the uses, you've been at the Broadway ICE facility on several occasions since you've arrived in Chicago for Operation Midway Blitz, right?
Objective form lacks foundation.
Sorry, I'll restate the question. You have been at the Broadview ICE facility in Broadview, Illinois, on a number of occasions since you arrived in Chicago for Operation Midway Blitz, have you not?
I have been to that location, yes, many
And
times.
you have seen uses of force.
Yes.
You've seen pepper balls being discharged at protesters.
Objective form lacks foundation.
I don't remember specific pepper balls being launched at demonstrators or protesters or whatever the word is that
If
you
I
just
was
used.
to substitute the word violent mobs and assaultive individuals, would you acknowledge then that you've seen pepper balls discharged at folks at the Broadview ICE facility?
I have seen less lethal devices discharged at violent rioters and or assaultive individuals.
You have seen CS gas deployed at protesters at the Broadview ICE facility, have you not?
Objective
No.
form.
If I were to substitute the words violent mobs and assaultive individuals, would you acknowledge that you have seen CS gas deployed at the Broadview ICE facility?
I would say that I've seen CS gas deployed at violent rioters and assaultive subjects.
Correct. And you have as well observed as your men have deployed physical force against protesters at the Broadview ICE facility, have you not?
Objective form.
I've not seen our men or women deploy force against protesters.
Have you seen your men and women deploy force against individuals like Scott Blackburn and Juan Munoz, who you would characterize as violent individuals and assaultive individuals?
Objective form lacks foundation, mischaracterizes the testimony.
There has been, those individuals were taken into custody as they impeded, obstructed, and or assaulted federal agents and or law enforcement officers at the Broadview, or near the Broadview facility.
And have you reached the conclusion that all of the tear gas, all of the CS gas that you saw deployed at the Broadview ICE facility, all of the less lethal munitions that you saw deployed at the Broadview ICE facility, all of the shoving and the takedowns that you saw your men and women engage in at the Broadview ICE facility, all of that was more than exemplary? Have you reached that conclusion?
I believe that all uses of force that I've seen and all arrests that I've seen have been more than exemplary.
Mr. Bovino,
Yes, sir.
I'm just going to ask you a few questions. That first, starting with Exhibit 26, which was the video that Mr. Bowman showed you a moment ago, and where he described the woman that was using the colorful language and taping you, taping your agents. Do you remember that?
Yes, the one here just at in Evanston there.
Did you observe anything in that video whereby your agents used force in any manner against the woman who was using, as you said, the foul language directed towards them?
I did not notice any type of use of force towards that woman or any other individuals exercising their First Amendment rights.
Okay, thank you. In terms of, do you remember there was a video earlier today, I think it was Exhibit 15, this is REL 148. They started at I guess it was hour 11, minute 4. They showed it kind of start and stop through hour 11, minute 14, and then they took it down. It was images from Little Village. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, sir.
Okay, and how do you, what do you remember about the nature of the images that were depicted in the video?
What I saw there, and I remember that well because that's very indicative of what was happening. It was It was what was happening real time when a Border Patrol van full of detainees that was trying to get into the area was surrounded. We were trying to get to that beleaguered van, and we were met with a very, very violent and angry mob of individuals that did not want to allow us to, at that point, rescue those beleaguered agents that were surrounded by a very threatening and violent mob.
So what about you've said repeatedly today during the testimony the last few days, you referred to threatening, you referred to, and you've drawn distinctions between protesters and assaultive subjects. What about that the individuals depicted in that video lead you to conclude that they were, that lead you to describe them as a mob or as threatening? What about their conduct?
Object to the form of the question.
Sure. That those individuals were advancing on Border Patrol agents. They were advancing on Border Patrol agents while behind and amongst them there was a van that was obviously beleaguered, and then those individuals conducted activities like slashing tires with knives. In other words, bringing weapons out. The same thing that I was worried about when we talked about that less lethal deployment. They were bringing weapons out, smashing car windows, throwing rocks, becoming ever more angry and violent. It was not this was several minutes after I had deployed that less lethal, and they were becoming even more aggressive, violent, and trying to surround agents over and above the van they had already surrounded. And one more thing is I had noticed they had utilized a white van and some other vehicles to block a key intersection, a route of egress out of the area. And I watched that happen, which was indicative of a threatening, violent mob that was starting to amass against Border Patrol agents.
And that mob that I'm going to refer you to, and I don't remember the exhibit number, but this was a photo that Mr. Bowman, I guess it's exhibit 23, Mr. Bowman showed you today. To what extent, if at all, was the nature of the individual, the mob that you're referring to from the video that Mr. Bowman showed you, where in this, where relative to what's depicted in this photo in Exhibit 23, would that mob or those individuals have been amassed?
Sure, and most of these individuals, after deployment of less lethal, moved down the street. So I'm going to draw an arrow there. There's another intersection down here, sir. This intersection is where that van was surrounded, and they called for help on the radio. So as we moved down towards that intersection, all of these individuals, plus the individuals already at the intersection, coalesced into one large mob of individuals that, as I said, were getting threatening and doing things like slashing tires, throwing rocks through vehicle windows, and that type of thing. So it was about another block down here at this next intersection. We call that the plaza. That's what that was referred to as, the plaza.
Okay, and just taking one step back, and you could put that aside. You've drawn distinction today in your answers to Mr. Bowman's questions between protesters and what you would describe as assaultive subjects, violent rioters, or a mob. Could you just educate the court as to what you understand protesters to mean, and secondarily, what you would then, let's just start. What do you understand protesters to mean when you're drawing that distinction?
Yes, sir. I would think a protester is an individual that is exercising their constitutional rights to speak their opinion, to speak their mind in a peaceful fashion, in a fashion in accordance with laws, rules, and with the Constitution. In other words, somebody voicing an opinion, and that could be both sides of the issue. We get protesters on both sides of the issue. Sometimes they protest against, say, a Title VIII immigration enforcement mission, tell us they don't like it, we shouldn't be there, we need to go home, use very foul language oftentimes. And then there's also protesters on the other side of the issue that say, hey, you should be there, we're glad you're here, continue to be here. So I look at those as peaceful individuals exercising their right to, one, be there, and two, to speak their mind. It's freedom of assembly, freedom of speech.
And so let's then turn to us. Like, do you understand us when you were today? Were using the phrases assaultive subjects, or violent mob, or violent rioters? Do you understand those three phrases to mean the same thing? Are you referring to them kind of synonymously?
I am, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So what do you understand those phrases to mean generally?
Sure. Those phrases, to me, mean an individual that wishes to perpetrate violence or threats or some overt violent action towards another individual. In this case, it would be us in law enforcement. That could be anything from striking an agent, removing a mask from an agent. I'm drawing from things that I see every day on the streets, or that my agents see every day on the streets. Removing masks, kicking agents, grabbing agents' groins, assisting and abetting prisoners from escaping, shooting fireworks, knifing and slashing tires with weapons, throwing rocks through windows of vehicles to hurt agents and or detainees. It's a whole myriad of violent actions that I see against law enforcement officers conducting a lawful law enforcement mission.
How, if at all, does refusing a direction from an ICE agent impact your view of whether a peaceful protester is then in turn becoming an assaultive subject or mob or violent rioter? Like, what if any impact does a peaceful protester's refusal to follow an order from a law enforcement officer impact your view of whether they're properly exercising their First Amendment rights?
Object to the form of the question, lack of foundation for that.
Yes, sir. When someone refuses a lawful order from a law enforcement officer, especially in the situations that we've described, that's, in my view, in my opinion, as a career law enforcement officer, that's an indicatory element that that individual is potentially on that road to not following instructions, potentially obstructing, and it's something that's going to cause me to potentially take a closer look at that individual, because not following instructions is certainly one indication of someone that's already ready to break the law, be where they're not supposed to be, and or more importantly, obstruct and or impede that law enforcement mission. Right.
And just, can you give me an example of what you would consider a lawful order that you're describing that would impede a law enforcement mission?
Sure.
Form and foundation.
You can go ahead.
Sure. For instance, we could go back to the violent crowd that we just looked at the plaza there in the picture that we looked at. Asking someone to clear the roadway so we can depart the area, which is what we were trying to do in that situation, and then those individuals saying, no, I'm not going to depart the area. Let's trap them in here. Let's get them trapped in here, and then calling for other people to come in and say trap us, or calling for vehicles to block our exits. things like this, that type of language that I believe that we're talking about here, that certainly does raise my suspicion and certainly amps up the level of threat by their language and then resulting actions, if there's resulting actions, that would that would concern me. A vast gulf of difference between those individuals doing that and an individual exercising their First Amendment rights by telling me they hate me or they want me to get out of the area or F you.